you know Barbara Streisand has a new album?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she died, and I went, "Oh, we should probably just bring that up because that's pop culture."
I saw the
Thank
thing.
God.
All I saw was news for
We're like,
you, Barbara
"Oh shit!
Streisand. And I did think she
Oh,
had died,
thank
and it's like,
God!
oh no, she has opinions on her
Oh
new album and
God!
not being paid enough for Meet the Fockers.
Oh, phew! Oh,
I'm like, okay, whatever.
oh God! Oh, this is gonna be a weird podcast. I was like, well, this is outtakes.
We should probably start the show.
Yeah. And then whatever the music is.
All right. Happy belated Father's Day to all the dastardly demented dogmatists out there. This is episode 22 of the Geeqoid podcast, where myself and my great friend Jarrad Shaw delve into all the latest that is happening in technology and gaming and just we break it down for you in hopefully a semi comical, entertaining way.
Movies, TV shows, cartoons we don't normally watch, but we'll have to because of you guys.
So
it's fine.
We did take a week off. We needed a mental health break because I hosted a party this past weekend, and it's a lot of work. Yeah,
it was great.
We got to hang out in person finally after a year.
I got to see. It's almost like, for me, it's like going to a con. you only see these people once a year, and so you're all really excited to see each other for those like few hours or few days. And so that's how it felt for me, and it was great. I got to see a ton of people, some who live right across the street, to others that live down the road, and I love it every year. And this was even the shortest one. I had to go up Saturday, like late morning, and I had to leave Sunday early.
You were there
morning,
for less than 24 hours.
Yeah, and I drove 3.5 there and 3.5 back, and I'll do it again.
It was great to have you. We drank probably way too much whiskey and aquavit and margaritas.
Jeez, oh Pete, could you please remember who you're supposed to give your margaritas
to? Sorry, Grant. Shout out. I never got you that margarita. Oh, but man, we got a lot to cover into the 2 weeks since we last recorded. Do you want to?
Do we?
We do.
Really?
I think the audience wants to hear about your Orlando trip and Epic Universe. Yeah.
Oh my God! I'll be honest. I forgot that would be something we would talk about.
I only say that because I was able to pull up notes that I had arranged from last week's episode that never happened.
That's great because it helps me. Because I was like, oh yeah, I was there for a week. Listen, anyone who's gone, we're Midwest based, so Michigan, Indiana. If you're going to go to any of the Disney or Universal IP, you're going to go east. It's cheaper. It's easier. You've got to go over mountains, and airplanes don't like doing that, especially when the wind is coming from the west, and then you're going right into it. So would I rather go to Disneyland in Hollywood Universal? Absolutely. Do I? Hell no. It's expensive. With that said, we went east. We went east because Epic Universe opened up at this time now. It's been 4 weeks. We were there at like the 2.5 week mark for the public. And listen, we could all talk about Disney World. It's great. It's fine. It's weird, nostalgic. It's very kiddie-esque, and there's a lot of like we were raised around it. Universal is another meh thing. It's fine. If you want really good rides, like Universal. epic was legit epic. It was this great combination from years of people from Disney and Universal all coming together. You know, they all got bought. They all switched sides, whatever they did. Lots of years to learn of how do you build a theme park. And the rides weren't crazy. They weren't Velocicoaster. They weren't the Incredible Hulk. They weren't like these like thrill ride roller coasters. They were more um almost like movie-esque experiences with a combination of video backdrop with live animatronics, which were real
So,
looking. It was
would you liken it
nuts.
to what Disney did with the new Star Wars park? Yeah, like the okay,
Yes,
because
absolutely. If anything, the engineers who probably worked on that or were contracted, absolutely half of them, guesstimating, absolutely were
yeah,
hired
because
after that.
the level of immersion
The
there,
Rise
yeah,
of
Rise of Resistance
Resistance,
was amazing, and it just yeah.
it's nuts. So this was a whole new level, especially for monsters. So they had 5 lands. If those who don't know, most of us, and I feel the people that are listening do know. Those who don't, there is Nintendo. Obviously, I'm going to call that out first. Then you have monsters. That's all their classic Universal monsters. Then you have Train Your Dragon, which is from DreamWorks, and it's a contract, but obviously a very permanent contract. Then you have the newest Harry Potter series, the How to Train Your Dragon, but your beasts and all that, set in 1920s France. And then the thing I thought was great, which I think was the original part of Magic Kingdom for Disney, the Celestial Park is their central hub, and I think also their showcase of what they are looking forward, like, into the future of. And it had its own rides and its own look and its own feel. And stepping into Epic was epic. It was so like I'm the person that wants to look at every detail. Like, what did the engineers do? What did the designers do? Katie was also a part of that. Other people were more like, I want to see the rides or I want to see, this IP or whatever. I was looking at more like superficial, globally, the thought of even the plants, the way that the bricks were laid out, the color detail of like each citing the Starbucks and because they don't have Joffrey's because Joffrey's is a thing for Disney. The Starbucks, you can't tell it's a Starbucks, but you know it's a Starbucks. It's nuts. It's crazy. None of the rides or any of the rides that will scare a kid, but none of the rides are a ride that would make a thrill ride person be upset. They're all very specific. They're all designed for what they're looking for, that image and that feel for each park. So even Celestial Park has comic racers or something like that. Celestial Racers, I think is what it's called, where it was an homage to an old Universal, um, which is a little like, my wife has taught me some things of another thrill ride they had where it was a blue dragon, a red dragon. It was 2 wizards who were fighting each other, but it's 2 carts that are swishing back and forth, and you're like rushing by them over
Oh
and over
God, Dueling
again.
Dragons was my favorite ride like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and they made a Hollywood Horror Nights of that to give homage to it. So then you would go right and go into like the Frost Wizard and him battling the fire, or you go into the left, the fire wizard battling the frost. And then at the end, it changed every night. And some people even said it changed every so many hours of who won. And so then they would change the set design of the haunted house
Oh,
of
that's cool.
who won. Yeah, it was really neat. Uh, and then did you choose wrong or choose right? So like you would also find out if you chose fire and you lost or whatever. So that was cool. So there are a lot of things. Mario and Nintendo was the big hit. So if you guys are going to Epic, you can spend the god amounts of money that uh not me, her family. Thank you, Meltzers. Spent. Nintendo was the hardest, longest wait times of any park of the four major. What was interesting and I loved about the new Epic is something I kind of just said. It wasn't just the theme parks, or not the theme parks, but it wasn't just the rides. You're always thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go for the rides, blah blah," and then I'll go to a store. They added like being able to interact with the environment. It was in all the parks, but Nintendo was the biggest one. So I saw I recorded some of it, but I didn't record all of it because it was also god awful hot
I
and
believe it.
humid. But the note blocks, there was one section of note blocks, and it was Simon Says. They would glow red, blue, red, green, whatever. And then I saw this cute little girl learning on the spot. Nobody had told her. She hit one block, all of a sudden it turned on. And they're huge. They're like 14 by 14 blocks, and there's 9 of them. So it's like 10, 12 feet long. And you have to hit them with your fists or with the wristwatch, the power band, which I also found out is an amiibo. So everybody Google that and figure out which power bands work with which games, because that sounds like a thing, like the new Donkey
Yeah,
Kong Bonanza game. Side note. So this girl is now doing Simon Says in 95-degree weather with 95 humidity on how to hit the note blocks to then make the entire park do the Mario theme song. And she stopped and went, "Oh my God." Other people who had no clue because it's in one corner, they all stopped and they all cheered because just they didn't even know that she did it. They were just so happy that then the Mario
that's really
theme song
cool.
is going on. It was it was so cool to see. The Mario Kart race I thought was gonna be cheesy because it's not fast. It's not a Mario Kart race, but the VR, it's not VR, but I'm gonna call it VR. It's the VR goggles, the headset you wear over that, you get to see what's going on in the world as far as the set design. However, the goggles overlay then a video, but it's 180 degrees. So as you turn your head, things are showing up, and you're supposed to shoot your turtle shells towards these objects as you're racing to get them out of your way and to beat Bowser, because Bowser is slowly, his team of his kids are moving up ahead. And so you're trying to knock these Goombas and Koopa Troopers out of your way. But you have to look towards left and right and a little bit up and down to then knock them out of the way, other than like moving a gun that would be normal, kind of more theme parky type stuff, like a Minions or Buzz Lightyear has similar. That was so cool. Add to that that even though the the coaster is not moving very fast, it's adding extra visuals to your headset that makes it feel a bit faster.
Oh yeah, it hyper stimulates you to
It was amazing. It was so good. So good that for the entire day, there was a 200 plus minute wait time for a 2 minute long
Oh my
ride.
god.
We finally saw it at 55 minutes and we bailed one other park to go back to Nintendo to get
That is
into that
wild.
line. Donkey Kong Country, because there is a lot of nostalgia since SNES and 64 for that ride. That was a never under 60 minutes. We got it at 90 and we thought we could wait in that line and we actually jumped out of it. We couldn't take it
Oh
anymore.
man.
But that was like one of the, even for her brother, like her brother remembers the cart level, which is early in that game for SNEX or SNES. And we were like, we can't do
Yeah.
this. Like, we got to go.
No, that's
It was great. Monsters was the most immersive thing I've ever seen. How to Train Your Dragon, I thought I am not like, I like the movies. I haven't watched the third one. I heard the third one's really, really serious and kind of a Debbie Downer, but it's really well done. Like very dramatic. I haven't watched it. It's set between 2 and 3. So Dad's died, if you haven't seen that, spoiler alert. And so Hiccup's in charge and there's other things, and you got
I don't even
your
think I knew they made a
white
third
dragon,
one.
your yeah,
Isn't there a
it's
live
really
action coming
serious.
too?
Like, yeah, the live action is play for play. It's out right
Oh,
now.
okay.
It's a play for play
Oh
of the
man.
first movie. But it's already hitting bonkers numbers because it's, I guess, better. And Gerard, not Gerald. Gerard Butler reprises his role as the dad, but now he gets to play it, live action.
Which is pretty cool. It's
Either
nice
way,
that they are able to make that happen.
and if you have a God spec, God, I can't talk. That's it. I'm trying to talk so fast. A God smack load of money. There is a hotel smack dab in the middle of Epic Universe. So if it rains,
I
you
don't
just
think
go
I
into your
realized
hotel
that.
room, and you could, yeah, and then you could go right back out and then hit
How is it
any of the
themed?
parks,
What is the
and
hotel
you get,
themed as?
they're all gods. So Helios is the hotel, and it's 2 gods because
Mhm.
it's all celestial, and so then it's Greek Roman gods. So you have a female god, I can't remember, of the moon, and then you have Ares of the sun, and then uh, every fountain that is in every park also corresponds with each other
Okay.
in unisons. It's nuts. It's crazy good. I've never said go to a theme park. Go to a theme park. Go to this one. It's so great. Even if you can't go on a ride, you're like, I am not, which is what our rule was, especially for me, because I'm
Oh,
a
me
poo-poo
too.
head.
I hate lines.
If it's 60 minutes or less, no. I'm not standing in line. I don't care if it's going to go inside and there's AC, which is a plus. I'm not going to do that. But there were so many other things to do while in each of those parks. Like Harry Potter, they did it in the last one, and Diagon Alley, but they amplified it times, I would say 5. No shit. Like they amplified it so much of go buy a wand. They added like 10 more wands. So you could really have your own unique specialized wand. And every shop window, pretty much, you could do something different. And then they had cosplayers constantly walking through, and they were like, "Oh, you're trying to do something." And they were in the they were from Hogwarts. They were from
Slytherin.
another school, the French school. Yeah, they were whatever. They were all these kids, plus even Ministry of Magic police going like, "Hey, do you have a license for that wand?" And you're like, "Ah." Katie wanted so bad to do a Parks and Rec where Ron Swanson just pulls out a piece of paper and the park ranger opens it and says, "I can do what I want." And so we really tried. She wrote it really fast. I went to one of the guys and he could tell I was going to do something. And so he talked to this little girl and he looked at me and he went, and he walked away.
You showed your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And she had a phone ready. She was going to record it.
Next time.
It was good. Nintendo, if anybody's going, be wary. The other parks, the other rides were much easier to get to than anything Nintendo. I would say second was the Harry Potter because the queue is a life-size version of the Ministry of Magic. When you walk in, it is 15 feet tall, 20 feet tall, whatever.
It looks awesome.
It's crazy. We did not go in there because it was like 3 hours to wait for that ride.
All right, but speaking of Nintendo, the Switch 2 launched. And they sold 3.4 million units in the first 3-4 days, which is just absolutely gangbusters. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty well received. We obviously both got our units through different methods. I was there at my one of my local Myers at 6 a.m. Rachel was like, "Why are you leaving the house? Where are you going? Are you leaving me?" And I was like, "No, we talked about this last night. Come on, I got to go get the new Nintendo console." And there was actually a line of people there at 6 a.m. when I showed up.
It's crazy, dude. At a Myers grocery store. That still boggles my brain.
But yeah, I was able to secure and we played some Mario Kart together shortly thereafter. And
yeah, we did Grand Prix and we did free roam.
It's solid, but here's the complaint that I have. And I think this goes for most console launches, let's be real. Like there's just the number of launch titles is just not there. And thankfully, I never got the original Switch, so I have a huge backlog of games. And I didn't download. I actually went into a GameStop and bought a used copy of Breath of the Wild, purchased the upgrade.
Nice.
Whatever it is. And I can tell you, having played with and without the upgrade, it is like night and day. It is totally worth it. The frame rate is higher. The resolution is better. They did such a great job on these upgrades that, oh my goodness, I'm glad I never got a Switch.
I think it's an interesting console because some people are like, it's an S year, like an iPhone. Like iPhone, I think, termed that title or category. I don't know if it is. I think I think we said it in another podcast, or at least we said it privately at this point. It's hard to figure out. But I think it's when you go to a PS3 to a PS4, when you go to PS4 to PS5, this is Nintendo's first version of doing that. And I think it really shocks, especially a lot of us older people who remember Nintendo to SNES. That's different. And then 64, that's different. And then each one has been so dramatically different. And this is their first time that Nintendo is also never wanted to be in the Xbox PlayStation fight. And even Sony, one of the representatives, still said that they are not nervous of Nintendo. Their direct competitor is still Xbox, which I thought was
Yeah.
humorous. But Nintendo's new board and new CEO, I don't think will say that out loud, but the Switch 2 is a very quiet, like, we have something. We're going to iterate just like you guys have for the last
Yeah.
15
And
years.
I think Nintendo is taking a very interesting approach comparatively to Microsoft. So Microsoft, their whole strategy is we want you to play any game you want on any device you have. We don't care if it's an Xbox or an iPhone or your computer, your laptop, your work laptop, your tablet. Like, we want you to play anything anywhere as long as we're involved. Nintendo, on the other hand,
Yeah, and I think it's a bit different because we've seen that with Sega, or with Sega especially. But I think they're learning from even past people like
well, I think
Sega.
Sega is
I
completely
think
different.
it's
I would not compare the two because Sega, they got out of the the console, the hardware
console
space
hardware.
entirely, and they just basically gave up because they realized they couldn't compete with Nintendo and with Microsoft and with PlayStation. Nintendo, on the other hand, they're just doubling down on the first party exclusives on their hardware. They're like, the only place you can play a Nintendo game is on a Nintendo Switch. And they're creating a very defensible platform, honestly. Like,
So it's the
but
Apple
here's the
walled
thing.
garden, and
This,
they're
this is just, it's hilarious because they're able to create this walled garden and they don't have to worry about regulators saying, "Oh no, you're charging too much of your developers," which is the fight that Apple is facing. Like, their whole long-standing legal battle with Epic Games. Like, holy moly! Like, Epic has just been trying to like, Apple got too big with the iPhone, and now they're having to open it up. Nintendo, on the other hand, they're like, gaming. Like, you look at the competition, we don't have a majority market share. Like, we're not even part of a duopoly or anything. Like, we can keep it a closed garden and charge our developers whatever we want.
and I think there was just a review of Fortnite for Switch 2, and it got really,
It was the second
really
game
good
I installed.
reviews. So also Nintendo had to have talked to Fortnite and Epic, or Fortnite had to have talked to Epic again, just like they did with CD Projekt. They're like, "Hey, we did something good. Let's do it again," or vice versa. But right now, Fortnite's doing
Well,
really
here's the
well on
thing:
the Switch
Fortnite,
too.
it's free to download and free to play. Like, holy moly! Like it's kind of a killer app for the Nintendo Switch too. Like, you just like it
Oh
is.
yeah.
It's got so much polish, so much performance, and then like all the custom created content on top of it. Like, it you could spend all day, every day in Fortnite.
And Fortnite's like the new, like, gosh, what was another game other than Minecraft
Roblox.
where like you just saw IP? Well, no, I was even meaning before that, where you just saw IP after IP after IP. Like Disney has put into Fortnite, Nintendo has put into Fortnite, which I've never seen before. Like Squid Games,
Yeah.
I just saw released like a few days ago, where like you could play as Squid Games, you know, goofy, very weird character. Like it's crazy.
Alien is
Terminator,
coming to
like
Fortnite, which I'm so
Alien. Yeah, that's
no, it's not. It's Disney
Universal. Like, or
because
is
it's part of
oh,
Fox.
that's right. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's crazy. It's like, oh, is there a character you basically at this point? It's like, is there a character you just think it would be cool to fight with?
Probably, yeah.
Fortnite's got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Marvel, DC,
Yeah, that was
it's got
like our
everything.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
And Mortal Kombat.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and Mortal Kombat. But like Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur used to be
Yeah.
that for us. And Fortnite is totally taking it. And it's running great and
Yeah,
looks great on the
it
Switch
it
too.
runs buttery smooth. I'm very impressed, and honestly, I feel like Epic Games is just really positioning themselves well within this whole ecosystem of Nintendo, Microsoft, PlayStation, even iOS and Android now at this point. Like they're making headway in a lot of
Yeah.
these legal confrontations that they're going to be doing well. And here's the thing, like Epic, profitable company. Unity, on the other hand, if I'm not mistaken, has lost money every year since they've gone public.
But I wonder, and probably not, but I wonder. So this whole conversation, especially I'm thinking the Epic Library, was a big deal. Enough so that every video game journalism place was talking about it before COVID and before Apple put the kibosh on Fortnite. Does this now, I mean, this is a lot of years, so they've spent all this money towards still Fortnite, which is done great, and they've spent a ton of money towards the court battle. They have to have ideas now on their library, if not, like things you and I haven't seen that they have upgraded. So I
When you
wonder
talk about the library, are you talking
if
about
in the
their
next,
games, their first party games?
so they had their own Epic library that they were trying to, and they probably are. I just haven't done research or looked into it in the last uh, 6 years. But they were starting to form their own. Nobody's going to compete against Steam,
Are you talking about the Epic
but
Games Store,
they were,
which
yeah.
they are very much still promoting? They actually just announced that they're changing the revenue metrics. They will give you the way all these game stores work is so Apple obviously has been notorious for their 30% take of whatever is purchased on the Apple Store, the App Store, and they take 30% of that, which is highway robbery. Let's just call a spade a spade. Um, Epic, on the other hand, and I think Steam has like a very actually very close to 30% as well. I don't know if it's tiered or anything like that, but Epic said, we're doing a flat 12%, and they just announced that they are changing it. So the first $1 million you make every year, they don't take anything. Yeah,
Holy
they they
shit.
are they are trying to be like the team for developers, and
Well, and also that marketing, like, hey, I know you guys wanted to go here, but we will not. I mean, they're the gold standard for PC. iOS is the gold standard for mobile. Epic has a potential to hit both because they're heavily cross-platform.
yeah.
It's a great it's a great marketing move, and I don't see it's not going to hurt them. Could it hurt them?
So
I
I
don't
mean,
see it
here's
could
the
hurt
thing: they
them.
they do.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's the library is still there,
Yeah,
or the
so
store is still
so
there.
they're making a very like a decent profit on the games that they are selling over that threshold. And it's basically subsidizing the costs. They're trying to grow the user base. They're probably, my guess would be, operating the Epic Games Store at a net zero profit. So they're trying to grow the user base without incurring a loss. And that gives you a lot of freedom
Yeah.
to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like they offer free games every week. Every week you go and you can download a
Oh,
free game,
really?
and you have it for life every week.
No, but you pay just like
No,
Game Pass.
no, it is
Xbox.
literally
Like you pay a monthly.
just a free game.
You log in.
You
You have an
go and
account. Didn't
yeah, I'm
charge you
looking at it
anything.
right now. I can go and I can click. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. The operator, which is, I have no idea what this game is, but it's, I mean, yeah, it's free.
It's free.
So why not get it? Like, it's usually $15 and I'll just get it for free right now. Place order and done. I now have another game. So it's now turning into my Steam library because my Steam library has hundreds of games and over half of which I've never even installed.
Yeah. Another reason I think I switched back to Nintendo, where I was like, I think I'm seeing so many grandiose games and I can't keep up with the development cycle is one thing, but also the game length is so long and like I want to play all the games, but I can't. This is it. And the older we get or the jobs and the higher we go in our
And the
professions, like
children.
I can't. And yeah, there's kids. Yeah, those kids. By the way, huge shout out to Anthony.
Yeah.
Huge shout out. He was amazing. So, Anthony, thank you. I can't wait to see you next year. Amazing.
All right. We got to keep moving because we're not even halfway through the docket and we're at.
Well, I didn't think you were going to talk about my damn vacation. I forgot about that.
All
I'm
right.
really
Well,
sorry,
let me just
everybody.
gloss over this one piece of news real quick. So, AMD and Microsoft announced a new multi-year partnership to develop future hardware for the Xbox.
Was that because of the ROG? Is there like a weird similarity in there? I'm already just moving into it
yeah.
without you
No, it's
describing
a great
things.
question. I think it's honestly, it feels completely exclusive of that. So, I mean, AMD had partnered with both Microsoft and Sony for the most recent generation of consoles, and it kind of makes sense that they would do it again. I feel like
The partnership. If you got a good partnership,
and here's the thing,
right?
like Nvidia, they're so big into AI. It's like I don't want to say they can't be bothered with game consoles at this point, but like because they obviously provided the chips for Nintendo. So it's good to see that there is not 100% consolidation around GPUs to either Microsoft or AMD. So I'm excited that the competition is still healthy.
Side note, I do feel like you did talk about with Nintendo. I do feel like Nintendo's been around so long and they are neighbor-esque to themselves of each little corporate whatever that NVIDIA, I really stop and pause and think what I was going to say. 1, 2, 3. NVIDIA and Nintendo have say intimate. There's something more. Nintendo wanted hey, we're not PlayStation, we're not Steam, we're not a PC, we're not Xbox, but they made the last system do things that the last system can't do. Does that make sense? Like it's like Frankenstein because I just left Epic Universe. Like they took an old processor and I want to say rejiggered, but I want to keep with the whole Frankenstein thing. They like Frankenstein some things, but it's not like a bad thing. They did things that are unique to an old processor, bringing it back up to current standards. It's still old, and we will still see limitations. We're already seeing limitations from, Digital Foundry, who is the gods of pure hardware in spec, like reviews and analyzation. Um, so if anybody doesn't follow Digital Foundry, you should totally follow Digital Foundry. They are some super hardware fucking nerds. Um, but I think it's very unique. But I think they're an outlier to other NVIDIA customers.
Yeah, Nintendo is not your quintessential NVIDIA customer. This
Or any,
yeah, that's
or
true.
really any customer. They're their
One
own
off.
weird.
And
Yeah.
I wish I knew how these partnerships get developed, and I honestly,
Especially them.
yeah,
I would love
but
them.
we'll never know. A lot of times it's backroom board meetings and cost benefit analysis. How much performance are we going to get out of this chip, and what are we going to pay, and what are the unit economics around it? And for some reason, Microsoft and Sony went with AMD, and Nintendo went with NVIDIA. So
Did Sony go with AMD
no,
too? I didn't. Now that is.
we don't have any info
Okay,
on the
okay.
PS6. But
okay. But they did go
yes,
with
so
PS5.
if I were to put money on it, I would probably say they're going to go with AMD again.
I like speculation.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited. If we're wrong, I'll do a shot.
Oh God.
If we're right, guess what? If we're right, I'll do a shot. Either way, I
There
win.
you go. Let's talk WWDC. So Apple, a week and a half ago, had their annual developers conference, and
What? That was during. Yeah. Oh my
I know.
God.
It's just it feels like a year ago at this point.
I'm trying to. No, it's not. Like, I was literally so on my side personally. I would wake up in the morning. I would make a really bad cup of coffee while everybody was getting ready in the hotel room, and I would go outside, and I would go on YouTube and listen to as many videos as I could on ×2 speed, and they all sound like chipmunks. And I tried to race through like 4 videos before I'd go back inside. Everybody's ready, and we'd go to a park. And then if there was a moment in the afternoon where we would go to lunch, I'd go, "Oh, I have to smoke a cigar. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'll be right back." And I would race through like 2 or 3 videos, and then the same thing during dinner. And WDC was the huge highlight the week that I was in Florida for Disney World and Epic.
Yeah. So the biggest unveiling from WWDC was their new unified UI architecture across all devices. They're going with this new glass, I think they're calling it. Liquid glass, thank you.
Liquid glass.
And it looks pretty-ish.
They just changed it. There's a new beta that just came out today. So they just changed the contrast. So
I during the party on Saturday, I was talking with Jesse, who I've known for well over 10 years. Like we both started at TechSmith, I think the same year. So it was like 2013, so 12 years ago. Yeah, and so he's been there ever since. So he was a UX designer or transitioned to UX manager, and so he stays abreast of all these the kind of user experience updates. And he was talking. He's like, he installed the beta. He's been playing around with it, and the one thing he noticed is that it is a battery vampire. That
right now it is. Yeah, everybody that I've been watching, it's
holy
pretty
moly.
big.
It's honestly not surprising because like yeah, these effects are really
Well,
cool, but
it's also a beta.
it does take processing power to compute these overlays and the refraction and everything. Like, my background is literally
was one of
in computer graphics, and
So one of the old things, they used to do a like translucent background, and everybody said if you want to
turn it
save
off.
battery life, just do it solid. And that was a long time ago. And so are they going back to that? And we're still finding that it's gonna happen, but they're like, well, new processor, new battery. And so in the back of my head, that's funny that Jesse brings it up, that most likely I'm still going to, for me, because I'm a heavy user, Katie will probably be great. But I mean, I'm using the iPhone right now. Like, I use it for everything. Uh, no, like, I'm probably gonna shift to like a
Yeah,
solid background. But already but the beta is a beta, and we're at beta 2 right now. But yes, it's a huge
but
battery
I
hog.
think the biggest news out of WWDC was that was the big announcement. AI was silent.
I think that is
Oh,
okay.
okay.
And my reason is they have plenty of bugs since iOS 7, which was their biggest change of that time period. And we're at this time period, and there are so many bugs and complications that they needed more of a visual overhaul and not a changing things up. However, with me saying that, they did some pretty major overhauls on how things now UX operate back and forth. I hope to God that with me saying that, this also gives them time to fix some bugs that have been there for like 7 years, like, or at least catch them up so that they're not constantly doing an update to just fix bugs. It's an update to actually update things. Um, they needed more of a, we need to fix our shit. Your last iOS has a ton of bugs and you're still fixing it to this point. Get it together, whatever new team, because I don't think it's the old team that we're used to. We keep thinking that because we always only see the old guard when we see a video, but they've had cycles of new employees.
I
Get
do
your
want to
shit
bring that up
together.
because I feel like Apple, when COVID hit and then they started doing their keynotes pre-recorded, no longer live, I feel like they lost something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We loved it, but
But
also
like
I hated
this
it.
year, I just it just felt really cringe. Like watching Craig Federighi
Mhm,
just like do his thing with his hair and running around and like everything seems so scripted and it's like, oh, my
mhm.
70-year-old parents are now running Apple and there's no new ideas and no excitement. It's all just it feels very sterile. It's like a hospital environment, and I don't use that in a good sense of the word. Whereas you contrast it to Google's I/O keynote, and it was the CEO up there just live updates, demoing stuff,
That
and
was the
like
old
it just
style.
man, Google killed it this year. Holy moly! Like
Was one of, if anybody Googles one of Steve's, or you go to Apple, because I think they have them all archived, so you can watch all the years. And you go to one of Steve's last keynotes, either their Wi-Fi wasn't working or the program wasn't working. And so you saw it in real time, live, and with these curated, edited versions, you don't get
Yeah.
to see that. It's all edited, and we go back. Well, I'm going back right now to Apple Intelligence. That was a big push. We all, you and me especially, and a lot of people, were really excited about it. And then come to find out within the last few months, that was two different departments of Apple talking two different things. Marketing was saying one thing, and software was like, oh, wow, we can really do that? That's neat. That's something we're working on. And it was not ready at all.
So one of the most apt descriptions I've heard of Apple is that they've transitioned from being this really innovative company that developed the iPhone, the iPad, and re-architected the MacBooks and everything.
And still are.
Okay, let me finish my thought. To the point where they are a very effective company operationally. Like they are a cash cow.
Oh,
Is how I've heard it described. Like
Yep.
they're very good at generating consistent revenue, consistent profit for shareholders. But and the people who have been there they just keep doing it. And like there was a an interview where they were responding to the feedback that Johnny Ive's company was being acquired by Sam Altman and OpenAI, and they're like, well, what do you think they're working on? Like, and they were the response was it, it was dismissive to the point where it was like, well, you have a device in your pocket and a device around your wrist that you can interact with. Like, why would you need or want anything else? Like, just the frontier thinking at Apple seems to have just kind of, I don't want to say died, but has, like, the Vision Pro was probably like the last big swing, and I mean it fell flat. Like $3,000 for a headset that has no killer app.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, so
They spent $10 billion on a car and then just 86'd it.
they 86'd it. And the new CarPlay that is going to come out, the CarPlay Ultra that's coming out to like BMW, is maybe their revamp towards that, which is great. It's beautiful. But it is them stepping back on that. It's interesting you say with Johnny Ive. I wonder if, I mean, Steve was never easy at all. Well, he was like anyone who's newer. I know we have some now, as of your party, we have younger people who listen to this podcast. And I implore you to listen to the not audio, but the biography that I listened to the year Steve died, and it was the only person that guy allowed to sit next to him as he was passing away. And it was heartfelt. There was maybe more positive, but it was still truthful. And it was an interesting ride of Steve's life. Steve, as a salesman and as a CEO and as a creative, was innovation.
Yeah, he was pushing the envelope every time. He only asked for more.
Did he know Yeah. Did he know what it was? No. He asked the other departments to figure it out because it wasn't his, but he was a visionary
Yeah,
in
and
that
then you
regard.
trade him
And he
for
was
Tim Cook, which Tim Cook's been a great leader, but he was a supply chain
he's
guy.
been great.
He was great at operational efficiency, not
There's been something again, you talk about COVID, something about during COVID really changed where Apple's become very stagnant, especially when it comes to the iPhone.
and here's the thing, they are
Um,
sitting on so much cash. Well,
trillions.
not
Jesus.
they are worth
Which is
trillions, but they're sitting on literally tens of billions of dollars of just literally just McScrooge cash in a vault somewhere. And the fact that you have and here's the thing, Apple is they're never early to the party, at least not in the last decade
mm,
or two. Like they take their time, but they usually when they enter a
no.
space, they typically win. And I think that's why they pulled the plug on the car project because they realized that they weren't going to win. Like Waymo, Tesla were just so far ahead of them. And I think they're looking at all the other potential projects that they have, and they're like, where do we invest this money? And they just honestly don't know. And here's the thing, like you look at Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, like all these other Mag 7 contemporaries are spending.
Mag 7. I've never heard that.
So
What's Mag
Mags
7? Magnificent. Is that like the old school
kind of,
Magnificent
yeah.
7 or
So
whatever?
like it's used to refer to Microsoft, Alphabet, aka Google, Facebook, Nvidia, Apple, and a couple other companies as well. So like there's 7 now in that grouping. Um yeah,
The
effectively, yeah. I
Illuminati.
mean, you have the S&P 500, which is like the 500 most valuable companies, and the Mag 7 are just like so much farther ahead than the other 493. And so they just kind of have their own grouping. And they're all doubling down and spending tens of billions of dollars a year on building out AI infrastructure. And Apple has been very quiet when it comes to AI. And it just has everybody scratching their heads like, are you doing anything or are you just waiting to surprise us? But like, this is not the environment where you can rest on your laurels and then launch something at the 11th hour, because you look at what Google's doing and Google's crushing it.
They're all in. They are absolutely crushing. Here's my question because I'm still very, extremely, very apprehensive of AI, especially if anybody wants to YouTube the John Oliver video that just came
Ooh, I
out.
haven't seen that. I love John
Um,
Oliver. I have to take a look.
oh, it, it's all about AI, and it's AI. It's AI. He titled it AI slop, but it's is hidden is AI in general. And I love one of the videos where a guy goes, people don't want to spend time and hours and weeks and months to try to like figure out a song where like you can just like type it in and do it, and then there's whatever there's this, and he shows off a band, and I air quotes a band, which could be a DJ. I mean, DJ is a band if you want to, I'll defend that part. uh but like they've had 10 albums in 2 years. what what band has ever produced 10 albums in 2 years? Even a single DJ like Grizz, one of my favorite, DJs ever, like he doesn't produce shit. I think he's only produced 4 albums, two, three, four, I think. And then his EPs and his singles, they usually come part of the
Yeah.
album later. Um, So, and then I think Ben Affleck made a comment about like, well, an AI doesn't stop. It just will keep churning things out. Where a real person will stop to think about what's going on, to then turn out the next thing, to stop, to then turn out. Where AI can just keep churning things out, and then you see what that level is. With that all said, I wonder if I'm really thinking here. Pause, pause, pause. Like, we're all looking at Apple to produce a new Siri, which they should, it to some degree. However, now I'm starting to think, should they? Or does it matter? I don't know. They are wanting to get into, because it sounds like still rumors are heavy. They produced at least the hardware for their new home systems, a new type of iPad, their HomePad, that will go along with the rest of their Siri integration. So, yeah.
So here's the thing: they are pioneering a lot of the silicon that is going to the consumer devices, like this neural engine that is now in the A16, A18 chips and M4s and all that
Yep.
stuff. So like they have the underpinnings of what is needed for on-device AI in the same way that Microsoft is really pushing these new AI-enabled Windows devices. So they're not letting up there. It's where the part where they're lacking is in their own homegrown large language model, and they have produced some models, but they've been
Yeah.
mostly I don't want to say
Well, I think
distractions,
it's
but
tchotchke.
like they're not
Yeah.
really state of the art, cutting edge large language models, and
No, it's
yeah, and
emojis
I'm
and
kind
stuff
of
like
surprised
that.
because Apple seemed like they were well positioned to be on the cutting edge of that, and
They marketed that, and that's, I think, their that is what shot, and which Nintendo, and that's where I compare them, is Nintendo and Apple before all these years have never done that. And Apple marketed and told everybody, and this, I mean, Jesus, it was, I mean, you and I both bought these new iPhones with, and they're great iPhones, by the way. Side note, they're great. Like hardware, which is them, and software, which in this regard is them. But as far as the AI, they marketed that we were going to get a whole lot more.
yeah, they overpromised and
And
underdelivered, and
which is the first ever for them. Steve, I'm surprised even Tim's been there a long time with Steve during a small time when he did come on. And I'm
I mean, here's the
really
thing:
surprised.
everybody is clamoring for AI, and they got to release something once a year, and you can't not release, otherwise, like you'll crater your stock price. So their hand was forced, and I don't know what they're gonna do next. We can speculate all day, but my wife really wants me to make dinner.
Well, I'm still an Apple fan.
I'm gonna switch
I still
to
think
Google
they have
phone
something.
unless Apple figures their shit out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do see that happening as well. I'm a huge Apple fan, but like Steve doing something with chat, Google doing uh the amazing keynote that they not only showed but are already rolling out.
I think
Yeah,
I think Apple needs to
Facebook,
get back
whatever,
to their
emu is
roots
whatever.
and get rid of this like canned, pre-made keynote nonsense. Like, just oh my god,
Edited.
it
Yeah.
felt
Yep.
just
Well, now it used to be like cool and cinematic, and now after I think Siri AI artificial or artificial artificial intelligence, it feels very scripted and edited, and we will only show you what we
it feels
want you to
detached
see.
from the user
And
base and from reality.
yeah, they've been all about software and hardware, which they are doing. Like, they're making their own cell chips, they're making their own processor chips, they're making their own other chips. They're making, like, in that regard, Tim and the rest of Apple of that regard are making a solidified thing that Steve always wanted, the crossroads between software and hardware. And we will make it that it's not a third party Intel. I love you, Intel. Not a third party Intel thing. It is our own thing so that it all flows so well that it's like melted butter on hot toast. It's like
Yeah.
almost too smooth. But their marketing department, whatever, and probably their investors and board, this was and has been for the last now year, horrible. Just disastrous.
All right. I want to switch gears real quick, do an indie spotlight. I teased this last week, and I think you're really going to like it. So, this is a game called Outbound, which is all about outfitting an RV and traveling the country.
Is that it's a VW bus, man.
Yeah. So, you literally travel around, drive around this RV.
Turn down the volume, you jackwagon. I told you this last time.
Sorry. Is that too loud? Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like at 0%. Anyway.
There it is. All right. So here, I'll describe it. So you're in the back of the VW microbus, which is super fucking cute. And you're driving through rain. But as you're doing it, you are exploring. Oh my God. It's all West Coast. It's all Rockies West, which I wish I was living there and not east of the Rockies. And you get to like build out the back. You can put a little stove, you can put a bed, you could build a tree house. And oh, look at all the aspens, which are aspens, by the way, which are super pretty. If anybody hasn't seen aspens, especially a huge grove.
So yeah.
So loud.
So it just looks like one of those cozy games, which maybe I'm really into at this point. It's like
Oh, I want to build. They're building a whole greenhouse on
like
top,
ridiculous.
on top of the microbus, and then like it just keeps going. They're like this little minivan is not going anywhere.
So I think
I love the art style. The art style is like a simple, like it's supposed to be a chill game, but it also has a little bit of like a No Man's Sky came out, with a very simple monochromatic kind of scale at first, and it has
like a
kind of
painted
similarity.
texture, not like a real life texture. So
yeah, it's gorgeous, and it very like red to blue, which reminds me of West Coast, or West Rockies. That's great.
Outbound.
What's that game called?
And we will.
Is it out now?
Yeah. Stop. You can add it to your wish list. So the alpha has started. I don't know when the release date is per se, but
you
yeah,
can
you can
do
go
it
to
on Steam right now.
I'm looking at the Steam page right now. You can add it to your wish list.
That would be a great game on the Switch. I would.
So here's the thing. It's also
if there was a
multiplayer, up to 4 players.
That's so. My next thing is like, wouldn't it be neat? Even the 4 of us. Like, Rachel's not a big gamer. Katie is not. Like, she watched her brothers long, and she's very negative. She's like, ugh, I hate you guys. But wouldn't it be neat if, like, we could all cruise around in the same area? We have our own same, like, microbuses.
I'm very curious.
Also, like, wouldn't it be neat if, like, she was in the passenger seat and, you know, I was driving, or vice versa, she's driving, I'm in the passenger seat, and, like, we're on this trip like you would together.
I'm really curious how they handle the multiplayer aspect of it. So we shall see.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Final note, Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out in July, which is only a
Oh
few
yeah,
weeks away.
we totally glossed over that. Let's touch on that next week.
Hopefully I can afford that, because I was not excited about it, but their Nintendo Direct opened up a whole slew of what other things you could do in the story and yeah. So I was excited to get it because it's Nintendo, but now I am excited because it looks like a great game.
I was initially dismissive. I am cautiously optimistic.
You didn't watch the video?
No, I did. I watched the entire Nintendo Direct, actually. It's just I'm not a huge platformer guy.
Man, listen. Resident Evil first person, third person.
RPG, action RPG kind of thing. Anyway, thank you everybody for.
There's a tech tree.
That's the only reason I watched the Nintendo Direct, because I wanted to know what you're talking about. All right.
There's a tech tree.
Like, subscribe, do all the things on all the pages. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. And I know I've teased a newsletter. I don't know what's going to come. I'll be completely honest. Just
what is happening right now? I think it's still speculation. Like, what's Google going to do? What's Apple going to do? Like, there's betas coming out right now. They are listening to the people. So yeah, look forward to maybe like what people are doing, so that then we can talk about it later. How's that, folks?
Listen to what people are doing.
You like that, Mama? I mean, and so you don't have to follow 5 different places. You can just follow one.
Exactly. Yeah. Follow us on all the socials.
Yeah.
And yeah, I promise you, we won't drown you in notifications, because we don't send them out ever. That's how nice we are.
That's
all
super
right.
sweet.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Hey, love you guys.
You all. And I'm Erik.
I'm Jarrad.
And together, Geeqoid.
We're Geeqoid. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.
End of transmission.